Jay here, Scotty and Motty. That's Scotty, obviously, and we are live, so make sure you are getting involved in the comments and the chat. We are going to be chatting about all things Manchester United. Also talking, obviously, about the future looking bright. And you may have noticed by what we're holding, we are launching a campaign.
We are indeed. This is a public service announcement. We are hoping for the hostage taking of Dan Ainsworth. Dan Ainsworth, or maybe even Dan Ashworth.
I
imagine there's a Dan Ainsworth that's been kidnapped somewhere around the world. But this one that's been done in Geordieland that won't be allowed to get out the garden for 2 years.
Right? I mean, I feel for him, man. He's sat there on full pay, on gardening leave, earning, barely scraping a living at about 250k a year.
Yeah.
I mean, they need to free the kid because I don't know what's up with these. Honestly, it's a travesty of epic proportions. In case you haven't noticed, the latest is that United are going for Dan Ashworth. Newcastle want a load of dough for him. It looks like he wants to come to United. It looks like Newcastle are willing to let him go if we pay the money. So we'll have to wait and see what happens here. It looks like someone's going to have to blink. But make sure you are getting involved in the comments. How keen, bothered, eager, indifferent are you towards Dan Ashworth coming to United?
I have no idea what Dan Ashworth does for a living. I have no idea how much he'll improve Manchester United, but I want him.
Yeah,
United need a new centre forward aside from the one that's doing head, shoulders, knees, and toes on the thumbnail. But yeah, I have no idea. But everybody around that, you know.
Have you ever been on gardening leave?
On gardening leave, no.
Yeah. I've been sacked before.
I've been on prison leave.
I've been asked not to come back to work ever. But I've never been put on gardening leave.
No.
Would you like to be put on gardening leave?
Yeah, but you get paid for doing nothing.
I know,
That's just
man.
like, what's that stuff during lockdown? What was that called?
Furlough.
I was devastated with that because I'd left the job.
Yeah.
Like within 3 weeks of it all happening.
No, really?
Yeah. And I could have just been sat at home.
You could have had that sweet furlough pay packet, eh?
Sweet.
Do you know what I mean? For nothing. Sitting around getting paid. Was it 2/3 of your wage or something you got?
Something along that line.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I remember those days. But no, I've never had gardening leave. The latest anyway, Fabrizio Romano tweeted about 2 hours ago. He said, Newcastle confirmed Dan Ashworth has now commenced a period of gardening leave. Do you know who I always think about when I think of gardening leave? Phil Brown. Do you remember at Hull?
Hull guy, the guy,
yeah. Because they didn't sack him, did they? They put him on gardening leave and then they sacked him, I think.
Well, why did they put him on gardening leave?
I don't know. I feel like they just wanted to get rid of him.
Is that because you don't want to do the severance pay?
I don't know.
It must be cheaper to do that.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look when Phil.
But I mean, what's 10 million get you in players now? I said yesterday on Twitter, you should like just do some sort of swap deal. We'll give Newcastle John Murtaugh and 13 quid, and then we'll have Dan Ashworth, like the Gillespie Cole thing of days old.
Yeah, do you remember?
Yeah, that worked well for all parties involved.
Do you want someone who's been a complete failure for the last 10 years? And we'll take someone who's had a lot of success off your hands.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. This is the club that had Steve Bruce as manager.
I mean, that's it. Yeah, the one with Phil Brown, it was weird because basically it looks like they just wanted rid of him, but rather than just sack him, they put him on gardening leave first. Because basically, it says here in a headline from 2010, Hull City today relieved manager Phil Brown of his duties and placed him on gardening leave with immediate effect. The Barclays Premier League club have confirmed.
You know what they should do with that? Because why is it called gardening leave? Because there's no way. Like, they should call it bearing leave.
Bearing leave, yeah.
Like
or
that.
Sniff leave.
Like, they should say, right, well, you're not coming into the office, but we want pictures week in, week out of an immaculate lawn. Just to prove you're earning your money.
So I've looked on the official government website, because, you know, where else are you going to go? And it says your employer, that's not a word, your employer may ask you not to come into work or to work at home or another location during your notice period. This is called gardening leave. So that's your notice period, though. You'll get the same pay and contractual benefits. So that's slightly different, isn't it?
It's like they want to get rid of you. They don't want you in the office, but they can't find a good reason to sack you.
Or you've quit. You've handed in your notice, and they go, right, you've got a 2 weeks notice period. We don't want you coming in the office because you make everyone feel a bit uneasy. Do you know what I mean? Why don't you stay at home?
I remember I used to work at this advertising agency, and one of the account execs there had told everyone that he's going on this worldwide like travelling tour and stuff like that. He's going to China to do all this and bought all the books, went proper all out in this whole sort of lie. And what he was doing, it was basically leaving the company and going to another advertising firm, but didn't tell his employers because he had the intention of taking his clients with him.
Oh, really?
And then it came out anyway, and then he got put on gardening leave.
Really? Yeah. So he so he bought books and all that? Like?
Yeah, to say he walked in the office and look at this.
Look at all these books I've got on the Great Wall of China and that, because I'm going there.
Yeah,
and it was
Scunthorpe's highlights and stuff like that.
And he was lying.
Yeah, best part of Luton.
What a weirdo.
Yeah. Did you know Luton's got a really small ground?
Kenilworth Road?
Yeah, I'd not heard that until yesterday.
Do you know what else I know? This is a little interesting fact that you won't get anywhere else other than on this podcast. And if you're not doing already, make sure you are hitting like, share and subscribing to the channel. Harry Styles was at the game yesterday.
No. Harry Styles would not be seen dead.
Honestly, my sources tell me that former One Direction starlet Harry Styles was at the game, although the media kept it a bit hush-hush.
Sounds like he went in the wrong direction. What was he doing in Luton?
Honestly, I've never seen anything like it. It was like the camera was obsessed with him, or whoever was producing it, because every 5 minutes you just got another shot of Harry Styles. Then you had about 8 articles on Harry Styles watches Luton versus Manchester United. Harry Styles leaves Kenilworth Road. Harry Styles spotted at Kenilworth Road. I'm like, bloody hell, who cares?
Yeah.
Simon Bennett says, Jay asked Scotty about 1991. What do you think in 1991? Do you agree with me and Steve that it was the greatest achievement in the history of association football?
What, when Leeds won the league?
Get out. Starters, that was 92.
Shut up.
And secondly, no. When Manchester United won the European Cup Winners' Cup.
That was the first time I ever cried at a game of football when Mark Hughes scored that.
So good, wasn't it?
Yeah. Hey, I remember swinging on the door in the house. My dad went to it.
Oh, did he? Mate, it was amazing.
He actually got into that one. Like, my dad used to have this thing. He's not allowed. No, not jibbing. Not worse than jibbing. He's not allowed to go any other ways anymore because he's been around Europe watching United, and he's only ever been to one game, and that was the one that I made sure. Yes, we're going into the Bernabeu to watch United versus Real Madrid. But he's been all over Porto, Italy. Yeah. Went to Barcelona '99. Watched it outside the new camp.
Right, okay.
Because
he goes and gets drunk.
Yeah,
we know that's like though, don't we? Like we'll go with almost no intention of going to the ground.
I always think the football's the worst part about going to Europe.
Yeah, isn't it?
But when my mum caught wind of it, because she thought always a stalwart fan,
going away again. Yeah, you don't know why he's had to go on a 3-week trip to go to France.
Shows your stub. Yeah.
Must have lost it again.
Yeah, that's it. Go for your coach, you Wayne.
We will get talking about Dan Ashworth. Also about Manchester United's rejuvenation under these youngsters, if you can call it that.
No, you're getting ahead of yourself. It was Luton.
All right, and it's also the 5th game we've won on the spin, isn't it?
So,
we also beat Villa at Villa Park. That's not an easy one.
Villa on a decline.
Right, West Ham.
Really?
Yeah. Who else is there?
Newport FC or whatever they were called.
Newport, they're a good team. They're 16th in League One.
Made a meal of that. Go on, who else did we beat?
Wolves at Molineux.
That was actually a decent performance, and they nearly lost that game. Apart from a last minute.
Bizarrely, I think that's the worst one out of a lot of them.
So what I'm saying is, yes, let's all cream our pants if that's the way you celebrate a game of football, because United have been winning games and we're unbeaten this year. Yeah, brilliant, right? But if you're telling me the performances have been great, I'm not convinced. They've been lackluster at best. And I got someone messaged on thinking, what does Scotty think about his Ten Hag stuff now? I'm not Ten Hag out. I'm Ten Hag. Show me that you've got some justification for that position, because how many games this year, and I'm celebrating yesterday, it was a great result because we won, right? But how many games this season have we lost leads?
Lost leads?
Yeah, like we've scored and then they've got one back.
Go on.
No, I'm asking.
All right, sorry, I thought you were going to tell me.
No, that's a lot, isn't it? Like, it cost us the Champions League, the fact that we couldn't hold on to a lead.
Yeah, well, we did it. Was it 3 times in Europe we did it?
Right, we did it 3 times in Europe. Now, if not being able to hold on to a lead 3 times in Europe, it knocks you out of the biggest competition.
I think it was 3 times.
And isn't enough to, and it knocks you out of the biggest competition because you can't control the game. At what point do you, as a manager, say, you know what, I think that maybe we should coach them into how to control the game. There's no excuse for going 2-0 up and putting that performance in after that.
Which one? Yesterday?
I just think it was pathetic.
Pathetic.
It was goal, and that's not down to Ten Hag. I think as a collective, they should take responsibility, because that game yesterday could have gone easily.
All right, let me ask you a question then. If the performances don't improve, but he keeps getting results, does he keep his job?
I don't think FA Cup saves him his job. I think Champions League may,
if he gets top 4, say,
top
or
5,
even
you think 5th?
It could be. We don't know for definite. It could be. That's going to be a double-edged sword either way. Let's say he gets Champions League football then. The performances stay the same, but we get those results. You think he'll still be in the job next season?
I think he's got better chances of getting the job. I think if he doesn't get top 5 and he wins the FA Cup, I think he's gone.
Right, but if he gets top 5, if fifth is enough, because it's not a given.
I think so. I think they might give him some time. But I think when you look at the sort of moves that they're making around the boardroom, and they're moving fast, aren't they, since Sir Jim Ratcliffe's been in?
Yeah, they're not messing about. Is it Omar Barada's come in? There's talk of this Dan Ashworth coming in.
Jason Wilcox.
Jason Wilcox, I forgot about him. Yeah. Blackburn Rovers, Jason Wilcox coming in as well.
But yeah, so they're making moves in the boardroom. So it seems like they have a definite vision now as to where they want Manchester United to go. Is there enough evidence from them that Ten Hag is part of that team? I don't think there is. I think the jury's out, and I think that the fact that we can't control games still, despite us going out Champions League because of that, our inability to do so, I think it will be his downfall. The goals against record is terrible. A goal scored for a team.
I think, what is it? Is it?
But even last year, didn't we only finish last year, right, on plus 15?
Let's look at this year first, and I'll get to last year in a minute. This year, we've scored 35 goals and conceded 34. So the goals, I mean, both of them are pretty bad, but particularly, the goals for is unbelievable, because I think there's only... I'm having to do some digging here, kid. Fulham, Bournemouth, Nottingham Forest, Palace. Oh, yeah, well, there's a few at the bottom, but yeah, I mean, those teams I just mentioned are the only teams that have got, and then the bottom 3, fewer goals than us. And then if you look at like some of the teams around us, we're 6th and we've scored 35. Brighton have scored 48 and they're one below us. Newcastle have scored 53 and they're 2 spaces below us. Tottenham, who are 1 place above us, have scored 17 more goals. So the goal scores record there is what's really bad. Because in terms of goals against, yes, we have obviously had a lot of leads we've given away and all the rest of it. It's not that drastic in comparison to the teams around us. What is drastic is the goals for statistic.
Last season it wasn't much better.
Let me have a look at last season. Hang on a minute. I can't remember what last season was.
I'm pretty sure we finished bound like...
It probably was bloody...
About plus 15.
It probably was pretty grim because we had a few hidings, didn't we, along the way. Last season, we scored 58. Again, that's quite low. I mean, Arsenal scored 30 more goals than us. And even Newcastle, who finished below us, scored 10 more goals than us.
Tottenham scored a lot more than us.
Spurs scored 12 goals more than us.
Yeah.
And we conceded 43, which is the same as Arsenal.
The thing is, last season, the difference was we had Marcus Rashford banging them in, right? And take Marcus Rashford out of our team last season, I think Ten Hag's gone already. And we had both Martinez and Varane. We had our probably strongest centre-back pairing. So this year, you can sort of say, all right, Onana's not settled in. I'll talk about him in a bit. But we haven't had the strongest defence. So you expect us to concede, but we're still not scoring goals. So we're not learning lessons, and we're not shutting up shop as we should have done. And I don't think there's been enough improvement all round on Ole Solskjaer.
You don't think there's been enough improvement?
No, I don't think so. In terms of style of football, I don't think that we're doing anything at the moment that anybody else can't do. United have improved results because we've got better players back, not because Ten Hag's doing anything magical in the thing.
So do you think he's done that?
You
you see him being in the
I just
dugout
don't see it.
next season?
Nobody can give me any evidence that is the right man.
No, I'm not talking about whether he's right man. I think, do you expect him?
I expect he'll go. I just don't think he'll keep his job. I just do not see it.
Do you not? I don't know, I think he might. I'll be honest with you. I think they might stick with him. I think he might end up getting top 5 or top 4 and keeping his job.
Yeah.
I do. I even think there's an outside chance that, and I don't know if we will win it, but if we win the FA Cup, he might keep his job. I know you're saying everything's an overhaul with the backroom staff, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was like, right, okay, we've done a new director of football, a new head of scouting, a new this, that and the other. We might hold off on the manager and give him one more season, because it's like we're going to change everything all at once.
Yeah.
Because that might be a bit of too much of a quick seismic shift when you change every single footballing department at the club in the space of 3 months.
Yeah, and I think from what I've read as well about Ashworth is that he's said some quotes about the changing manager every 18 months. How you're going to get any stability or sort of unison between sort of the academy players.
I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't mind seeing Ten Hag being given a chance under this new regime and seeing if he can improve and work with him, because it has been a horror show at United for so long. I want to see what he could do with a director of football, but there's so many ifs and buts at the minute. You don't know.
My problem is,
Who do you want, by the way?
I don't know.
Do you have a candidate?
I would probably say Nagelsmann is probably who's Nagelsmann, the German coach.
Yeah.
I'd probably say he's probably one of the favourites. I mean, I don't know who's out there and is available.
Tuchel might be available in a few weeks.
Tuchel.
The way he's going at Bayern Munich, bloody hell, he lost again at the weekend.
Yeah,
didn't
we'd end up getting Harry Kane and still not winning.
Do you think we can? He's at Germany, isn't he, Nagelsmann?
Yeah. Then he won a decent. He won well with Munich. Did he win a treble or something?
Let's have a look. He won the Bundesliga. I don't think he's not won the Champions League, has he? And he won. No, I think it's just the Bundesliga. I say just the Bundesliga, but he's won the Bundesliga, I think, with Bayern Munich, and with RB Leipzig, he got to the cup final.
Which cup final?
The Pokal Cup final. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean that CV isn't much more impressive than Ten Hag's, to be honest. So that's not exactly what I want. And what I'm saying is he's the man whose name seems to be touted with that.
I don't know what the script is.
I just don't think I've seen enough evidence to suggest that Ten Hag's doing anything at United that's any different to what anybody other coach could do.
I mean, do you not give him any credit for winning something? Because that was the thing with Ollie. Ollie never won out. And I liked Ollie. Me and you argued about Ollie. I quite liked Ollie, but he never won anything.
I liked Ollie as a person. I just don't think he was
bloody hell, this isn't the Lonely Arts column. Yeah, you liked him as a person, but as a manager, you thought he weren't good enough, and ultimately he got sacked. But listen, at least Ten Hag's won something.
The last time that I mentioned Solskjaer on this channel, I got an email from somebody and really started having a go at me about it.
Since when are you going to get censored? So what?
He's a nice man. I'm not discounting that he's a nice man. I'm sure he is.
Right. Well, I don't care whether he's a nice man or. I think actually his niceness might have been his undoing. Ollie. I think he needed to be a bit harder. But do you not give Ten Hag a bit of credit for that Carabao Cup win?
Yeah, well done. What do you mean credit? What do you want?
He's won a trophy. That's my point.
He's had credit. Now we're playing freaking worse football than we were last year.
Think, you know what I mean?
What credit you want is a Carabao Cup?
That's the criticism.
You know what? Let me tell you what the problem is. Right. It's fans like you who have lowered their expectation of what it means to be a Manchester United fan. You're happy to celebrate a Carabao Cup.
I am happy to celebrate a win.
You know what?
Yeah,
you know what?
Right. Because I was there and I celebrated.
Yeah. No, but right, for the moment, great, and then you carry on.
Right.
It's like, you don't hold on to ex-girlfriends, do you?
Right.
you know.
No, I definitely don't. By the way, 100% no. I don't even speak to any of them. They all hate me, and I'm happy with that.
Do you know what I mean? It was a great day, but let's not say that it was amazing.
I mean, it wasn't.
Bloody hell! It was a Carabao Cup. We used to mock Man City for winning it, or other clubs for winning it.
It's not like he, got to the dizzy heights of the runners-up competition in Germany with Leipzig, is it? Come on. If he'd have done that, then fair enough. I'd have given him more credit, but.
I just said that his name was being touted around. And let me put it this way to you, and this is something.
To be fair, he won a Bundesliga, which at the minute Thomas Tuchel doesn't look like he's going to do.
Exactly, so it's a difficult task.
You're not getting any credit for winning the Bundesliga with Bayern Munich, especially that team that he inherited.
Nagelsmann can skateboard.
Also, is he even going to leave? If I was him and you're at the German national team, would you even come at
Germany? Have got to be favourites. One of the favourites of that competition. It's in Germany.
Yeah, if you look at the names that have actually been suggested at United, it isn't. I don't know about you. Obviously, read different papers than I did, but I think the main names you keep seeing are people like De Zerbi and Potter. And
I've seen them. I've just tried to blank them from my.
And that they have a connection to.
To who?
Is it to Brailsford or Ratcliffe? He knows. I think he knows.
Well, I think Vingy was winking on him. Mourinho on that.
Yeah, we stay, but I don't think that's happening.
I can't see that happening.
Would you have him?
Yeah.
Mate, you're mad.
In a heartbeat? Why?
You're mad.
You could see from that interview about how much short shrift that he got. I every time I put a sort of positive Jose Mourinho tweet out on Twitter, I get absolutely annihilated.
Listen,
I just
talk about me living in the past.
The football was boring, and I'm like watching United versus.
No, I'm not. It's not about the football was boring. It's about the fact that he burned the village on the way out.
Well, they should have put him on gardening leave.
Yeah, well, they should have. That might have solved all our problems. But I can't see it happening with Jose Mourinho.
It will never happen. But he'll always have the way you're bleeding, loving in Ten Hag over a Carabao Cup. What Jose Mourinho did winning the Europa League was a far greater.
I'm not saying it wasn't.
Well, I don't think you hold enough. You need to give him more credit to him.
Give Jose more credit. Listen, I gave him credit, right, for a good year after that Europa League win.
Even the
I gave him credit, right, up till about I don't know. I think, to be honest with you, I know it's an easy one to say, but that game at Anfield, you could tell you could tell he wanted to leave.
Yeah.
He said it. He told you he wanted to leave by the things he did with his team.
I know. I quite admire that though, even though it's Manchester United. Like, you admire shithousery on the pitch. I'm going to admire shithousery off the pitch. And yes, it is my club, and it wasn't very, very nice to see the way he was wrecking my gaff. Putting the ball through the window from the inside out. But that leads a nice little segue because you mentioned the Scousers there, and I was asking myself the other day. I was like, why don't I see many of Jay's tweets? And you know why it is? Like you don't come up on my feed at all. I was like,
I've not. You've not muted me.
No. Why does the algorithm not like Jay? Why am I not linked?
I had my greatest ever tweet the other day.
And
my biggest performing tweet.
And I went through your tweets, and because you like politics. In case anybody out there doesn't follow Jay Motty on social.
But that was the tweet that I've had that had the most traction ever on Twitter.
Yeah.
Was on Saturday, and it was a political tweet.
But that's like I've pretty much just muted all political words. Anything
I do more
Starmer, lettuce, Sunak.
Oh well, you're not going to get any of my tweets.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like my tweets on repeat. That
Love Island.
No, I've not tweeted about Love Island recently. I've not been watching it.
I did see one of your tweets, and I agreed with you. And that was that obviously the Scousers won by some goals at the weekend, a few, whatever. And they are on to maybe lift the Premier League title with Klopp in the final. Hoo-ha! Can you use an Al Pacino quote? Hoo-ha?
Yeah, you can do that.
No, you do it. You do good.
Hoo-ha!
Oh, you're better than that. You've not your beans.
Hoo-ha! Hoo-ha!
She had a good
She got a great ass, and you got your head all the way up it. That kind of went into some sort of.
I built you up there.
I don't know. I don't remember doing an Al Pacino impression.
We've got it on one of the top fives.
I've not done it for years. I need to practice.
So, Klopp wins the league title and walks off in the sun to Barcelona, and or Man City. And you said you'd rather anybody.
No.
You said you'd rather anyone but Liverpool win the league, right?
Course,
okay, anyone.
Yes.
Right. So I thought for Scottish survey, if producer Alexis waking up.
He's on it.
Oh, well done, Alexa. Right, okay, so this week, what would you prefer? This is a hard one, Jay.
Go on, it won't be.
Would you prefer Manchester City to do the treble again, a double treble?
Yeah.
Or Liverpool win the league with Klopp? City win a second treble on the bounce.
It's not even an issue. It's not even a debate or discussion or a difficult one. City win the treble.
Okay. I agree with you.
Do you not know why?
Because it won't count for anything.
It doesn't count.
No
one cares. Everyone knows why they're winning all these things. Yes, they've got Pep, and yes, they've got all these amazing players and everything, but everything is asterisked. Everything is like, 115 charges.
Yeah, but I mean, would you have like a Ferrari if it had a little asterisk on it?
What?
Would you buy a car if someone just like grazed a little?
But you're not just giving me that Ferrari. Are you? It's like I've either got that Ferrari or I've got a fucking a Skoda with no wheels. Like those are my choices.
Do you think you were comparing Man City pre-buyout to a Skoda?
No, I'm comparing the Skoda with no wheels is Liverpool.
Oh, right.
Yeah, they're my choices, aren't they? It's either you've got this or you've got that. I think I'd rather have City winning something than Liverpool.
Right, okay.
I think look at like what does it mean to you? Right? What are you witnessing? How are you feeling about it? Obviously, if City did another treble, it'd be absolutely minging.
I genuinely was not asked I can't tell you how unasked I was. I was surprised at myself. I was like, "You're not upset, David?" And I went, "No, I'm not." And then I realised I had to go to the doctor to talk to myself again.
It's very David Breton. Can I go to work this morning, David? No, you can stay in bed, David. That's not me in bed with another man called David. That's me talking to myself.
Once I got out of the lunatic asylum, we agreed with ourselves.
Yeah, we agreed with ourselves that you've got to go.
We weren't bothered, and the drugs do work.
Jay and Joe's adopted son Benjamin in the super chat says opinions on Bruno disappointing lately.
Wank.
Nothing different than what Eriksen offers at the minute. Passing plus creation is better, and Eriksen wastes a lot less. Ooh.
I would get rid of Bruno in the summer.
You'd sell him.
I'd do whatever, put him on gardening leave, but I'd just get rid of him. I don't think he's worth the whinge.
Really?
I don't think so. If not, what is he 30 next year? He's so wasteful.
I think he is.
Go on, give me some bloody Statman Steve or whatever he's called, whatever you're going to do.
What? What are you on about?
His stats.
What stats? Just stats from him?
Yeah, like his passing stats and all that. How many goals he scored this season? He's supposedly in Manchester United's most creative
7
player,
in all competitions.
right? And how many assists?
I don't know. I think I'll have to get the stats.
It's not good anyway.
Right, because I think the best stat that if you're going to go down the route of get me some stats for Bruno is his chances created. I think he's.
I wasn't saying that in a demanding way about
like, do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, he's created the most chances in the Premier League this season with 54.
Have led to goals?
No, that's just chances.
Right.
So that's included. He's Pascal Gross is behind him. Then it's Kieran Trippier. Then it's Saka. Then it's Trent Alexander-Arnold. Then it's Salah. Then it's Alvarez. Then it's Odegaard. And then it's Kulusevski. And then it's Foden.
Right. What constitutes as a chance? Like, does it give a definition? Because you could like pass the ball to someone and that will, you know, in a shit position. That doesn't mean that they're good. Like, it's a decent chance.
I mean, I don't know.
How many? So 33 games, 7 goals and 7 assists.
Yeah.
You think that's good?
I think it's not for him. It's not as good as usual, but it's not terrible.
Not for him. For Manchester United. Do you think he's on a decline in his career, though?
I think he's in a bad spell. I don't necessarily know he's in a decline. I think it's a bit dramatic to say he's in decline. I think he's not having a good spell at the minute, but I still think he can be effective. I just think he's, especially in the last few games, you've seen it, and Ronnie made a good point earlier. He's like, maybe all the minutes are catching up with him. And I think Bruno at least deserves the opportunity to have a rest. Get rid of him. I won't go that far. Why not just rest him for a bit? He's played more minutes than any other footballer in the world practically over the last 2 seasons.
Oh, so what? It's what he gets paid for, isn't it?
He plays 90 minutes of every game. Last season...
Oh, my heart bleeds.
Listen, last season, he played sort of more club games than anyone because United went to the latter rounds of the last round of the FA Cup, the quarterfinals of the Europa League, and we had that extra 2 games against Barcelona.
Yeah.
Plus, we got to the final of the FA Cup, and I think he played basically all the league games as well. And he had a World Cup in the middle of that where he played all but one of Portugal's games. I think he missed one of Portugal's games, the dead rubber. I think he got rested for. So I think at the very best, I think I'd rest him.
I don't think we can build a club.
Why don't we test that theory though, right? And just drop him for Eriksen then? Yeah, why do that rather than selling him?
Well, we can't sell him now anyway, can we?
No, but why not do that then? Why not say, okay, you don't think he's good enough? Drop him for Christian Eriksen, as Jay and Joe's adopted son Benjamin says, and let's see Christian Eriksen in that role and see how we get on.
Yeah, why not?
Would you not do that?
Yeah, let's do that. See what happens. I think one of them will go in the summer, though.
Do you reckon?
I think Eriksen might. I think one of them will go.
I think
Can we talk about Marcus Rashford?
Yeah, of course you can.
What did you make about... Have you seen the thing where he's tracking Ross Barkley?
Yeah.
I spoke about this already.
I did. Spoke about it on Paddock Podcast. And, I mean, it doesn't look great. And it's always a criticism that he's got when his pressing isn't good enough or whatever. But I actually thought Marcus did all right in that second half yesterday.
It did, but...
And I think he's an easy target as well, Rashford. I do. I think there's always this thing with him.
You know why he's an easy target? Because he doesn't fucking move.
No, that's harsh, man. I think that's harsh.
Did you see? There was unforgivable. If Barkley scored from that yesterday.
Yeah, but what are we looking at here? We're looking at a 10-second clip, and like I thought he had a good second half. I thought he had a good game overall, but his second half in particular. And I think the thing with Marcus Rashford is like, yeah, it's not great, and I'm not saying I've criticised Marcus a lot this season because I don't think he's having a good season, but I think he's been better recently. And it's always these sort of clips that I'm not really into. It's like 7 seconds there, 10 seconds in. It's like he's getting hammered. And I think, to be honest with you, I thought he had a good game. I did. That ball for Garnacho, by the way, right? That Garnacho should score, I thought was superb. The way to pass. Oh, no, it was into his stride. It was a 60-yard pass into his stride. Yes, you're right. Listen, you're right. That at the end was unforgivable. But do you know what I thought was more unforgivable? Before you pivot completely away from Bruno, was the fact that in the 94th minute, Bruno's got a corner, he's got the ball in the corner, and he shoots at the near post.
Yeah,
that is unforgivable, and I love Bruno, but that is so brainless. I can't get my head around it.
This is where I talk about controlling the game.
Like, do you know what I mean? I'm not even being funny, right? Yeah, you're right, but my 8-year-old knows that. If you're winning a game by 1 goal, and it's the last minute of the game, you don't shoot, and you certainly don't shoot straight into the keeper's arms. He did the same thing against West Ham last season at Old Trafford. It's the last minute of the game, your boy Fred's down the left-hand side, Bruno's in the left-back position, right? Literally the last 30 seconds of the game, and without looking, he plays a ball into the middle of the pitch that Declan Rice gets onto, well, he doesn't even get onto it, he just goes to him, runs with it, and has a shot that David De Gea does a fantastic save from that could have equalised. And it was so stupid, I couldn't believe what I was watching. And then you saw it again against Luton last night. Again, last minute. Just keep the ball in the corner, man. It's not hard. Everyone does it. Everyone knows that. It's so basic. And he turns and he has a shot that is a glorified pass back. Like, listen, both Marcus and Bruno have had the critics, and I think to some degree it's warranted. But those little things, you can question certain things about the manager, the tactics, all the rest of it. That's just players being thick.
And I think that's one of his downfall, Bruno, his decision making. I think that's what's the difference between him and the elite players in his position, is that he doesn't make the right decisions all the time, and he's far too erratic with his passing. Rather than picking the right pass, he'll try 4 or 5 different ones before getting the right.
The thing is with Bruno, right? I get to a certain degree, it's like what you got to look at is the payoff worth it, and at times it is. Do you know what I mean? At times he's that guy that can get you that chance, can create that, who can, when he gets it right, pick out a pass that other players in that team haven't got it in their locker. The problem is he doesn't know when to try that. Like, when you're leading by a goal with 5 minutes to go, let alone with 1 minute, you don't need to be trying the risky one. Just keep the possession. You see what Mainoo does very well? Mainoo will do the nice 5-yard, 10-yard passes really well. Keep possession. He'll take those touches that he needs to take, get him away, quick feet, get him away from someone, and he'll just give it to someone like a Bruno or
Easy
Casemiro.
Football, do you know what I mean?
He has got passes, you know, he's got it in his locker where he can do a long pass or, you know, play someone in or whatever, but he's very, very good at keeping the ball. Bruno, he tries things, and sometimes he come off, sometimes he don't, but I do think last few games in particular, we've seen the worst traits in Bruno. I think even by his standards, I don't think he's in a good spell. And I just wonder, I wonder whether he might benefit from a bit of a breather.
Yeah.
Because I do think that mental fatigue can be a thing as well, can't it? You know, when you're making, I mean, he's had times when he's made bad decisions regardless of how knackered he is. But mental fatigue can affect your decision making as well. And I think his decision making is getting worse.
Yeah. It's already baseline bad.
Yeah. And I think it's getting worse. Yeah. And I wonder whether the games are just catching. Ronnie made the point, and I kind of agree with that. I think at least for me, in the summer, if I was like you and I think he's got to get rid of him, I'd at least try a different option. I'd at least say, right, okay, let's try Eriksen, or let's try Mason Mount if he comes back. Because I think at some point, something's got to change in that team. If you've got Mason Mount there, you spent 65 million quid on him.
That's what I mean. If you're going on the performances, then you've got to look at Bruno as being the one who, out of the Casemiro, Mainoo and Fernandes triangle, that Fernandes' role is probably the most that's up for grabs. I'd say if a fit Mason Mount comes back in.
Yeah, I can kind
and
of
the thing
agree.
is, I
think we'd have to find a new skipper, obviously. But
yeah, and with the age of Fernandes catching up to him, and I'm not saying Mason Mount is going to come in and do a fantastic job, but he has got an ability, and that's why he's at Manchester United.
But you think the manager bought him for a reason? Didn't want to wait till the summer?
I'm just going to say Anthony, right?
Bloody hell. I mean, yeah, if he's bought him and he didn't have any intention of playing him, that would be absolutely baffling to me.
Yeah.
I think the thing with Anthony is, I know you're right, I don't rate Anthony at all, but I think he bought him to play him. He gave him a year and a bit and then realised he's just not good enough, and he's not getting good enough.
And my suggestion to sell Bruno isn't solely based on the fact that of his performances, because I think he's a very talented footballer. I think his decision making is woeful in comparison to other creative midfielders, despite what the Premier League stats say there about most assists created this season. He is probably one of the most viable players that we could sell and make a profit on, in the same respect that Marcus Rashford, with the rumours of going to PSG. Now, if you're Manchester United and you've got to give 500 million to Newcastle to get Dan Ashworth out, so do you know what I mean? You've got these aren't just players that are going to be judged on their ability, but also their selling value.
I don't think Bruno ticks that box for you. I think you need to go, if you're going to make money, real money.
Rashford.
Your money comes from Rashford, McTominay and Mason Greenwood, because they're academy products. And also, Bruno's nearly 30. You paid 50 million for him. What are you going to get for him? 60, 65, 70 maybe? For a 30-year-old? Your profit's what, 15 million? If you sell Mason Greenwood for 40 million, that's 40 million quid profit. If you sell Marcus Rashford for 80 million, that's 80 million quid profit. You sell Scott McTominay for 45, 50 million, it's 50 million profit. So I think that's where you...
And that's where you were in your...
I'm not saying we should sell any of these players, by the way. I'm just saying, if you want to make profit for United in FFP and all the rest of it, and just to buy, an LB to buy more players, because it's about FFP in it, really. Because I think you can always go to the gym and go, yeah, gives a few quid, but the FFP is the thing that can hold you back. Then I think those academy products are the way to go, because everything is profit for them.
So Greenwood will be a massive...
Yeah, if you sell Mason Greenwood for... Let's say his star keeps rising in for Getafe, and you can get 50 million for him, let's say. We know with Mason Greenwood, it's not about his footballing ability, it's what's going on off the pitch. You get 50 million, that's profit. Let's say Scott McTominay, he says, listen, I'm not going to keep sitting on the bench when I'm banging in the goals. And Newcastle come back in for him. And the club say, all right, we'll get, you're not a starter. You score goals for us off the bench, but sack it, we'll sell you. You get 50 million for him, there's 100 million profit, then you can spend all that on players.
Isn't it mental then how cheaply we let players go? Young players like Garner and Zidane Iqbal and stuff like that. It's terrible.
I get
what sort of management is? I understand when the players want to leave because they want they want to play football, but if your end game is to try and turn a profit so you can invest more into the team. Because that's what Man City are really... I mean, despite the 115 FFP charges against them, right, they do create a lot of players to sell out, don't they? They farm out. And Chelsea have been good at that to an extent prior to Todd Bowley coming in with his cheerleaders and hot dogs, right? That is it Cobham? Chelsea.
Yeah,
so they were always good there. But to sell some of the players that we've had for such a cheap cost, we should just sell like Kobbie Mainoo. Then how much we get for him?
Mate, tell you what, right? I'll tell you now. If we sold Kobbie Mainoo, I'm done. Like, genuinely. If we sold Kobbie Mainoo in the summer, you can have my season ticket and you can take my place on Stretford Paddock. Because I'm just done. I'd quit.
If United sold Kobbie Mainoo?
If United sold Kobbie Mainoo in the summer, look, FFP...
What if Real Madrid came in 300 mil?
No.
You wouldn't take it?
No.
Why?
But he's the one player we've got, right? The one.
Right, but what if
maybe him and Hojlund are the two players we've got.
What if Ten Hag thought that was a good idea?
Sack Ten Hag.
Well, no, give him credit. He won the Carabao Cup. Now, this is the man that beat the mighty Newcastle at Wembley in the Carabao Cup final.
If Ten Hag tried to sell Kobbie Mainoo, right, he should be sacked and imprisoned.
Really?
Yeah. Genuinely.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not even exaggerating. Sacked and sectioned because he's obviously lost the plot. Like, you cannot sell Kobbie Mainoo and replace him. You could get 300 million quid for him, you ain't replacing him.
Hey, is he that good?
Shut up. Like, you almost had me. Hey, get the fuck out of here, Tommy. Jay's Park says, evening Jay, evening David. Lovely to see you both as per. Mick Hojlund said, you would think after the Wolves game, Bruno would know better. I know. Glenn F says, I really don't understand why everyone hates on Marcus. He's the player who got Hojlund going on his goals. Those three, by the way, Garnacho, Hojlund and Marcus, 7 Premier League games he played together. 7 wins, 2.4 goal average. So that triumvirate is working. Trisman says, I think Bruno's burnt out. So I think he's kind of agreeing with what you're saying. I think he's agreeing with what you're saying. Or might be agreeing with what I'm saying. I'm saying he's knackered. You're saying he's in a bit of decline. Sam H says, not even the treble, it's the 4 times in the row talking about Manchester United, forgive me, Manchester City. Glenn F says, Bruno needs a rest. I agree with that statement. So if we're winning by 2 or 3, then replace him very soon. The trouble is, Glenn, if we're winning by 2, you've got a 30-second window before we concede. Yeah. So basically, you've got to sub him before the goal kick for the opposition after we've scored the second. Because if you wait another minute, they've got a goal back. Because we cannot defend a lead. We cannot make life easy for ourselves, can we? I know we did it against West Ham, but that was an outlier. They should just do the old Keno thing. Is when they've got kick-off after we've scored, just go through someone, just to calm the nerves. Do you know what, though? We're that thick. We'd do that and get a red card.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Do you remember when Rooney did it against West Ham when they were counter-attacking? And you know, like, you do a tactical foul? Like, you do a tactical foul to stop the opposition, obviously, don't you? Like, so we were attacking, they counter... And they're on the break. We've got a 1-goal lead. So Rooney thinks, right, I'll just clip him to take, Mark Noble or whoever it is out of the game. So I'll take the booking for the team. Except he doesn't clip him. He does what can only be described as a 2-footed assault on him. Gets a straight red, obviously, because it's right in front of the referee and there's no arguing. Unless you're Mason Allgate, it's like, red, you can fucking get off the pitch. And then it's back to the wall for the last 10 minutes because we're down to 10 men. Fantastic. I do miss Wayne Rooney. We're going to wrap it up there. It's been very good, this. It's gone by quite quickly.
I've enjoyed it.
I've enjoyed it. Even though you've said that you hate Kobbie Mainoo and you want rid of him.
No.
And that you don't rate him. Do you know what I mean?
No, I said it. I said, is he that good? I posed the question.
I think he's the best player, in the league.
I'm not noshing you off.
Shame. I've put a link in the chat to free Dan Ashworth. Hey, there you go. Get him freed off his gardening leave. The poor kid. He's at home now, earning 250k a year. Absolutely going through it. We'll put a link in the chat to our Patreon. There's extra content on there. We're going to be back later on this week as well. We've got other stuff going on. Make sure if you're not doing too, you subscribe to the channel. And if anyone can help him, please get in touch because, mental health services
Subscribe!
are much appreciated. That's been Scotty. I've been Mike. Don't forget as well, producer Alexei. This has been Scotty and Motty. Thanks for watching.